Hello, I'm Alexandra J. Johnson with the Entheos Academy for Optimal Living. Today I have the pleasure of chatting with Steve Sisgold. Steve is an author and a speaker who feels purpose and joy in helping others boost their mojo through his writing, storytelling, and humor. I hope you enjoy the interview. Hello, Steve. It's so great to be chatting with you today.
Thank you. Aloha. I live in Hawaii, so I'm still kind of attached to that word.
I love it. It's such a beautiful word. I don't obviously live in Hawaii, but I like it. Aloha. So I'll say aloha back.
You know, one of the reasons I started with that too, most people think it just means hello and goodbye, which it's used that way, but actually means heaven.
Huh.
And lo means earth, and ha is the breath. So this is a whole culture, just as an example of, connecting the spirits and the earth, the groundedness through the breath. So it relates to my work a lot. Wow, I didn't know
that. That's amazing. And it's perfect for the work that you do.
Exactly. And it makes people feel good when I get out on stage and go, aloha, like brightens people up. It puts them in a little vacation second,
That's so great. I love it. Thank you for the little tip on that. I like it.
Absolutely.
So let's just dive into what is whole body consciousness for those people that don't know what that is.
Whole body consciousness, Alexandra, will be, like for instance, you're driving to work and you're thinking about something that happened at the breakfast table and you're thinking about your meeting and you're holding the wheel like this and you're gritting your teeth and you have no idea.
Right.
That's what I would call a low BQ instead of your IQ, a low whole body consciousness.
Right.
Whole body consciousness will be, wow, I'm nervous about the meeting and I feel some anxiety in my chest. You're not just in your head, but you're aware of your sensories as well. I noticed I was just gripping the wheel. I'm still upset about something from behind, this morning. I can feel it in my body. And you're really using your entire body. Even if you asked me something like a proposal, rather than go, what does she want? I want to please her. Okay, I might take a moment and say, what does my whole body have to say about that? So it's more of a whole awareness using your mind and your body to navigate.
That's so great. So why do we want to connect to this body of wisdom? And I'm just curious of what's the benefit of us actually tuning into our whole body?
That's a great question. Well, on a few levels, let's go back to that first example. So this happens all the time when I work with companies, is that people don't realize they're gripping the computer mouse really tight, their shoulders up here, they're gripping, and then they've got a meeting and they're not engaged. Man, I got a headache. I have no idea why. So it would really benefit people if they were throughout, I'm not breathing, I'm gripping, and then they could release that tension. So just on a pure physical level,
right.
On a deeper level, it's like, I call it the library of your flesh. Your body has been through everything you've been through, so it has a memory, and anything that's ever happened, even if your mind forgets, it's still in your body. Mm-hmm. So that comes in handy, when someone makes a proposal to you, your body might be going, no, because your body has a memory. So it's important if you can take a moment and tune back in, and some of the things I teach are how to go in there and actually go, wow, I'm getting some wisdom here from inside that says, no, I think I'm going to pass this time. Mm. And you're not just reacting. So it really helps in making decisions. And then the third area I work in are beliefs that are held. Things happen. We hold our breath, we enroll our body to hold on to those, and we forget about those. But in time, they form patterns that actually start to have beliefs. Like something happens, and our body has a feeling, and we have a belief. A quick example is I left my neighborhood for the first time as a little kid with my cousins. It was a great little safe life. And we went out there, and some guys pulled up in a weird Chevrolet and jumped out and beat us up, and we ran home. My mind forgets about that, but in my body is what I call a viral belief that says sometimes, it's not so safe to go out there. And that could pop up before a TV interview. It'll pop up before I'm walking on stage. Fortunately, I know how to clear that.
Right.
But all of us carry beliefs in our bodies. So, that's the third reason I teach this work, is so people can get in touch with beliefs that might be keeping them from having what they want in their life.
So great. And one of my questions was the viral belief. So diving into that a little bit more, using our body, then that's where we can find some of these beliefs that are limiting us in our lives. Is that right?
Absolutely. Not to impress you, but to impress upon you. I've worked with a lot of people. I'll give you an example, like a rock star who had writer's block. Mm-hmm. And he could not figure out how to write or get that flow back. And because his mind, as Einstein says, you can't solve a problem with the same thinking that created it. So things happen and we kind of think our way out of it and think our way out of it and it doesn't happen. But when we check into those beliefs that are in the body, he got in touch with a viral belief. Oh man, the last time I was out on tour, my brother got jealous. Oh yeah, and I lost a relationship, and those kind of things got forgotten, but they're in the body. So when it's time to write and do a new tour, the body has that belief that snaps up, just like all viruses. They're in there. Mm-hmm. They pop up, and it's like stops him from writing. It could stop you from success, creating a new relationship. You say, I want a relationship, but your body inside's going, I don't know, man. Remember what happened last time? You got hurt.
Right.
Those live in us, even though they're not here. Mm-hmm. They seem to get triggered and pop up. If we're not aware of them, that's, I think, what sabotages us from creating what we want.
Beautiful. And as you were just talking about with the body, like, why do we disconnect from our body? Like, what's going on there? Because, you know, it seems like a lot of us are disconnected, not fully integrated. So
tell
you more.
Well, one reason is, who wants to feel uncomfortable? I mean, I don't. I like pleasure. I like feeling good. So if we have uncomfortable feelings or something that you know, we feel, oh man, that's familiar and I don't want to go there, we have many mechanisms to disconnect. You know, we all have our habits and our ways of getting out of the body. Also, Alexandra, a lot of people were taught, for instance, you know, a little kid walks into a room, they're hot. Oh, it's so hot in here, Mommy. I want to take my sweater off. It's not hot. It's not hot in here. You're not hot. Yeah, I'm hot, Mommy. No, you're not. So you hear that enough from people, they invalidate our own feelings. We start to think, maybe I don't know what I'm feeling. And we've learned to, you know, to separate. And then there's all the cultural stuff I talk in my book about, where, you know, the body's a sin and you're not supposed to feel good, there are people suffering, blah, blah, blah. So there are many reasons that we disconnect, but primarily it's because we don't want to feel. It's much easier just to distract ourselves and not feel versus go into the feeling and get the kind of wisdom we're speaking of.
That's so good. You have, going in and getting this wisdom, you have something called whole body inquiry, and I know you're going to be talking about this in the course, and it's a whole process, but can you give us a little snapshot into what that is?
Sure. Just for a little snapshot, like right now, whoever's watching, just notice, like, what's the quality of your breathing right now? Gee, I don't know. Am I breathing from my chest? Am I breathing down in my belly? Am I breathing, you know, full deep breaths? Am I even aware of my breath? That would be the first integrative conversation between the mind and the body, is just listen to your breath. You'd be surprised, you know, how many things you can find. I'm not able to receive in. I'm not able to take a deep breath. Or, I only breathe short, which would put us up in our sympathetic nervous system and keep us on alert. So the second thing I tell people is just every so often take a scan, you know, like, oh, wow, I didn't notice my legs were crossed, or I was gripping. And then you can just correct that. So I think it's just ways to start helping people understand even their body-friendly or body-negative vocabulary. How often do I say, it's a pain in my neck, that's a pain in my neck, and then a week later I've got a neck ache. Things like that are part of the inquiries I get people into. And as a result, they become more aware of what I call their BQ, like, whoa, I got a low BQ. I don't listen, or I'm not connected to my body very much. And then that gives them incentive to want to improve that.
Right. And it's so great, too. As we talked earlier, I've read your book and very familiar with this, and it's amazing how much tension we actually hold in our bodies, and the level of joy and expansiveness and creativity and flow and awesomeness that we can have when we really embody these techniques that you're talking about. Just like a simple deep breath, right?
Absolutely. You know, like people talk about spirituality. I do a lot of talks at New Thought churches and so forth, and people say, you know, well, what do you mean? You know, how do you feel? I go, hey, walk into a gospel church sometime and notice how they feel and enjoy the spirit. And, you know, it's like, as a result of us feeling something at some point. We were hurt, shamed, criticized, felt bad. So we don't want to feel that again. But as a result, as you said, we're really ripping ourselves off from really embracing the other kind of feelings. I mean, I really work with people who go, I don't feel the joy of my kid and I want to, or, I don't feel the joy of when something good happens and people compliment me. I just can't kind of feel it. What happened? Well, you've cut yourself off so much from the painful or the hurtful feelings that you also cut off that whole feeling body. And you're right on. I totally agree with what you're saying. I mean, there's a lot of joy and pleasure we can feel too.
Yeah. And I love too, just from your work and just tuning into it, it's like a sensation. Like there's not like a bad feeling. It's like, okay, great. And being able to flow with that. And can you talk a little bit about that? Good, bad feelings, allowing it
Sure.
to all flow.
Well, what I attempted in the book, and I'm glad you said what you said, was for people to feel as they were reading, asking certain questions, giving them visualization. I want to do the same thing in the course. It's going to be very interactive so people actually get to feel. And at some point, as you mentioned, you might feel something like, I want to be successful, and then, you get small, or I want to have a great relationship. Rather than running from that feeling, maybe there's something you can learn. And the work I teach is that if you actually dropped into it and listened to it, you might notice something like, why am I doing this when I think about relationships? And if you really took the time to breathe and follow some of my techniques, you might be able to get to the source of that and change it. I mean, I've had so many situations where I want to be successful, but I don't know what's blocking me. And they'll start to choke and get small. And I go, don't run from that. Go into that, and they'll have what's called a cellular memory or a somatic recall, which is meaning that they go into that versus running from it. They get to go back to that moment, and they might go back to one true example is a dad who told his kid every time the kid looked out the window, hey, everybody's getting stuff for Christmas but me, Dad, what's the problem? Son, money will make you sick and toys and gifts, it's not good for you. You just remember that. So the kid forgets about it, and later on he tries to be successful, and he's wondering why. Well, when I say it's his billboard, his whole body's saying, don't buy from me, because in his body is that message, might get sick.
Right.
So I work with people to rewire those beliefs and embody something new. And it seems that that's the real law of attraction. They seem to magnetize more of what they want that way.
Yeah, I love it too, because it's obviously the class is called Whole Body Consciousness, but it's not, so many of us just get in here and it's like in here, and you're not finding the solutions or what's going on. And when you have that whole body consciousness, it's like, wow, transformation happens.
And better communication. I mean, in relationship, it's such a difference to be able to say to my fiance, wow, when you said that, I noticed this in my chest. Let me see what that's about. Then I'm kind of taking it as my response and my reaction and noticing perhaps I might go, now I'm really in touch with what that is. It reminds me of this time where so-and-so, and you get to know me better. I mean, I've even in corporations had guys finally, like after this kind of communication, they raise their hand and go, guys, I got to tell you something. Every time I make a sale, you slap me on the back. And they go, yeah, you cringe. You don't like when we do that. Duh. Well, my older brother used to hit me on the back a lot, and I guess I never told you that. It doesn't feel good. Wow, what a great thing for a department of salespeople to say, hey, when John makes a sale, give him the thumbs up, do something, give him a high five. He does not like to be slapped on the back. Imagine if we did that in our relationships. We didn't make the other person wrong, but we said, this is my body impact. This is what happens for me. Not saying you did anything. And then we get to know each other, I think, really much more intimately.
Yeah, totally. And there's like a responsibility, right? Like you take responsibility for what's actually happening in your body, and you make it easier for the people that love you. This is what's going on for me. This is how you can love me better. Okay, great. Awesome. Sweet.
Yeah. And do I do it 100%? No, I forget. We all do. We all forget. But I think these practices and these tools, and because I'm doing this work all day, I'm reminded more. Like people say, wow, you breathe a lot. Yeah, I'm doing breath with people. It reminds me. So I think it's just a matter of practice and rituals. The more we do it, it becomes not like it's hard or we have to think. A lot of these communication process, I see people reading sheets. When you said that, let's see, what did it do? No, go into your body. You'll be able to get the answer right away.
That's so great. I so love this stuff. One other question, you have something, and this might be for the course, but you have something called the SET technique. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes. Well, I created it because of that story before about the mommy, I'm hot, no, you're not. A lot of us really either don't know or almost are afraid to actually feel what we feel. Mm-hmm. So to get set, I call it your self-evident truth, to get set, S-E-T. What's evident in you? Like if I'm sweating, even if you say, you're not sweating, it's cold in here, I go, no, like I know. I'm aware of what's happening in my own body, mm-hmm. and be able to stay with that, because most of us will override our feelings at the drop of a hat. If somebody else has another feeling, we'll try to match it. So self-evident truth is some of the things I already went over. The first step is to make the commitment to go, I'm going to take a moment, and I do this with companies, where they just sit at your desk or wherever you are and take a moment and commit to really notice, what's my whole body experience now? And start with the breath, and you go, wow, I wasn't breathing, or wow, I noticed I was breathing and kind of excited. Then take a whole body scan, and the real key here, Alexander, is to declare it, either to yourself or out loud, like, I'm noticing my shoulders up here, I'm noticing my heart's beating fast. I'm noticing I'm a little nervous about the meeting and my legs are shaking. And just that body-mind connection often will relax the body, and then you can do something about it. Oh, okay. So getting set before this interview, before anything I do, that's what I do. I tune into my breath. I tune into my body awareness. I might be gripping and not realizing it. And then I can correct it and kind of get more present and even more present and relaxed in my body. And that gets me set for whether it's a presentation. How I got into this work was watching people make presentations, and they'd be talking about something and their body would be giving a whole other message. Huh. So this alleviates that. I can't tell you how many people get up and go, I'm all about health, and they look totally like bent over and shrunk, and I go, wow, something's wrong there. They might think they're about health, but something in their body is tensing up, and the audience gets really confused. The relationships, your partners get really confused. So this helps you get congruent with, here's what is, and now I'm set for whatever situation I'm in.
That's so great. And just the communication, right, that you were talking about earlier too, there's such a flow when you're like in your authentic space, your set space. It just like flows, I know for myself, when I'm in that, it's like, oh, this feels so good. And when you actually have somebody else who's in that space too, it's like a whole different world.
I like it. I like what you're saying.
I like what you're saying. So I have one more question. So somebody who's watching this is like, I definitely want to do something. What is one tip, strategy that you would recommend them to start doing today? Other than sign up for the course, of course, but something that I could do right now.
Absolutely. Well, that's great. I feel like if you're watching, the first thing is to really take a look at the relationship you have with your body. Is my body my ally? Is my body my coach? Is my body my monitor? I call your body your thought monitor. Mm-hmm. Start to really take an inquiry or assessment of, how do I breathe? Like a lot of times I'll find if you're able to really take an in-breath, you're able to receive more. I mean, you're able to really take in more. Am I expressing? Am I able to fully express myself? Just start to really get in touch with the things that you've learned today around breathing, taking a set, what's going on in my body, because it'll help you in so many directions, whether it's holding tension. The truth is a lot of people get carpal tunnel and arthritis because they're gripping things all day and they don't realize. Mm. So start to really listen and notice, what's happening here, not just here, and just watch all the great things that'll come from it. Fantastic.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom. I definitely feel more relaxed and present in my body just having this conversation. So thank you so much.
Thank you. You're awesome. I've enjoyed it immensely.
Fantastic. Have a great day.
You too.